They said Gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain. Least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high in deli, I'm a fighter jet, journey.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? Happy April Fools to all you fools out there. I'm gonna say Mr. Grey Cloud. Muffins Martinez with his Slice Boogie t-shirt. Rob K, MLW Confusion. Myself, the OG, Booty with Don Dada, aka the man of a million AKAs. Gentlemen, War Chamber. A lot of highs for me. I think we'll jump. Hey, yo, dude, we see your shirt already. This isn't the Slice Boogie podcast.
Greetings from New York.
Yeah, you missed out on that. Like didn't we reference Boogie last week?
Slice Boogie.
Yeah. See, you're late. You're late to the dance, bro.
Whatever.
So, War Chamber. I think we started off Janai Kai. I mean, at this point, I'm wondering when we're going to get a full Janai Kai match. It doesn't seem like a straight just beat down at this point. I mean, I don't know. Talk to me, gentlemen. Janai Kai, War Chamber, all that goodish. I don't care who goes first. I just want to hear somebody talk.
Yeah, I don't think it was a straight, beat down on this
It wasn't
match.
like a squash.
Yeah, it wasn't a squash match. The girl did whatever she had to do. Janai Kai just is better at it. She did what she had to do. She came out kicking like she always does. She kicked the shit out of her in that corner. She got it real good with that kick there in the corner, and she pinned her. She did the job. We got another.
But it never felt like it. It never felt like she was in danger of losing.
Yeah, true. And the thing is like, what keeps bothering me about this is that they always keep bringing Japanese wrestlers that we don't know about, unless you're a hardcore fan and you know who they are. And you have a cluster of roster of females there that you don't use. So we already know that oh god, the girl from Sea Stars, and I forgot her name.
Tell me.
She's the number one contender. Why couldn't she get the title match there? So now I'm guessing they wait till May 11th and have it there. Where it's the renta against Cesar's team. So, but it did its job. I wish they'll use more American wrestlers and less Japanese wrestlers, because at least the American wrestlers, we know who they are, hopefully. Yeah. But they keep using Japanese wrestlers, which I don't have a problem with it, as long as we know who the hell they are. This
or
girl,
just switch it
I
up.
had no idea who she was. I had to look her up because I had no clue who she was. Like the girl last time, the fast-paced girl, whatever, in the bicycle, stuff like that. Yeah, the only one that I knew was the first one that she fought, and that was a great match. Which one?
Maki Ito, right?
Ito?
Yeah, Maki Ito, and then the other one from Japan.
Even I know Maki.
Yeah, and we all know Maki. But everybody else, they seem since we have no clue who they are. So, keep it local, get girls that we know who they are, or use what you have in your roster. So
yeah, I agree on that. Like, there's no knock against the Joshis. Like that, they are obviously a very high, they're very high level talent overall. It's just, but it is the same thing kind of over and over again. The Joshis. Joshis. Yeah, that is the traditional term for the women wrestling over there.
Learn something new every day. Thank you, Rob K.
You gotta put your hat on, bro.
I should have put the hat on for it. But yeah, a drop in knowledge. I'm just talking like I assume everyone knows what I'm talking about at this point.
He dropped the nugget.
But I agree though, because it is just kind of the same thing every month. We have kind of like the Joshi du jour come in, they has match, Janai Kai wins. So I would like them to at least switch it up a little bit. Bring in a luchador from CMLL, as Muffins likes to talk about like every week. Bring in some of the local talent, or local to the area. I mean, Lord knows that they've been in the Northeast for at least a year. This is part of the first batch that's gone out of the Northeast, but like the Northeast wrestling scene is filled to the brim with quality talent they can bring in even just for a one shot. Like yeah, we know Janai's not going to lose to him, but you can still put on a banger of a match. I mean, same thing for down in Florida. Florida's got some quality wrestling down there as well. And if nothing else, you can bring in a young up and comer out of like Coastal they got and there's a couple others down there. One of them is part of the Gangrel school.
CCW.
Yeah. And
like you said, they could have done a special attraction match, or I'm calling somebody out, and there's somebody from Florida there.
Yeah. Well,
and gets beat in 10 seconds or whatever they did last time.
Or like, well, as we will probably talk about, like they had no problems bringing out like rando local talent for this event alone. I mean, we already had like 3 different guys that for MLW fans were almost complete unknowns. But I'm going to digress back to the point at hand, which is our championship match. I thought it was perfectly serviceable. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. I did feel that the ending was a bit rushed and like out of nowhere, but not like RKO out of nowhere where you just hit the flash finish and you won. It's like they just like cut off. Like it's almost like they like cut out a section and then unpaused it almost. Like they were going through a series, and then all of a sudden Janai hits the half Nelson slam, Irish whip into the corner, boot, it's over. Like I felt there was a better way they could have transitioned to that spot if that's how it was supposed to go, but it was almost like someone just said like, "Hey guys, you're running long, let's just go," and they ended it.
Yeah, and it's called Coastal Championship Wrestling.
There we go,
CCW, which is good. I like that.
I want to segue what Rob said about CMLL. We finally actually have a belt shown on MLW defended somewhere else. Yeah. So, gentlemen, talk to me. I know we've been beating the drum for damn near, I don't know, over a year or two about this shit. Talk to me about this.
Another thing, like I was just happy to see them do this. And honestly, with the War Chamber like needing an actual intermission for War Chamber to be set up like this, I thought this was definitely a perfect opportunity for something like this for it to happen, because like I've outed myself several times. Like I'm a fan of deathmatch wrestling, and one of my pet peeves in watching like deathmatch tournaments or something of the like is that like you have this intermission for 15 minutes or however as they set up their cage, or they set up the barbed wire for something, and it's just kind of dead air time. And so they found a good way to work around this while promoting the partnership with CMML in a way that makes it look like it's more of a partnership, because they did go to Arena Mexico and watch the belt be defended in Arena Mexico, rather than just bringing in the CMML guys and making it look like it's kind of like a one-way kind of treat.
And what I like about this, jumping on what Rob Cameron said, they actually showed the whole match. It wasn't skip here, skip here, skip here. It was the entrance. It was the whole match to the end. So it was perfect. I loved it. I love the type of matches. We got to see an actual CMLL Mexican match. If people who are just fans of MLW, you got to see a whole match, how they do things there. A lot of high dives, a lot of fast stuff. That whole mystical turn that he does, and then comes right down to the arm lock, and they quickly just tap, is because the whole formation down to the thin ground is crazy. What I would love to see is hopefully in the future we'll have an actual CM or actual MLW wrestler wrestling there, and then they take okay, we're gonna show you a match from here while we're doing this, and then you show an MLW guy against a CMLW guy. I don't care if the MLW guy loses. I don't give a shit about that. I just want them to actually show somebody other than Rocky Romero wrestling in the arena. You can see how packed that place is. You can see the fans going crazy. You can see how the difference of how Mexico, Japan treats their wrestling. And that's a weekly show. That's not a monthly thing. That's a weekly, I want to say 2 or 3 times a week shows. And it's completely sold out. So, I think from Thursdays to Sundays or something like that. That's completely sold out, that packed. So that right there shows you the difference of how other countries value wrestling compared to how we value wrestling. Some of us like it, some of us are just casual fans. There, They're just crazy about it, and they will kill you if they don't like you. They'll try to jump in the ring if they can and try to beat you if you hurt one of their favorite wrestlers. So it did his job. I was happy with it. Mystical won, so that means whenever he comes back in May 11th, he'll defend the title here, and whoever he has to wrestle, and hopefully going forward, if he still has the belt past May. So,
see, the dope part about that match is, like you said, with the crowd and everything. This wasn't an American lucha match with American fans, right? Like, this was an organic lucha match in Mexico where those fans, this is their product. This is how they want to see it. They love that shit. Like you said, with the casuals, a lot of wrestling fans are just kind of be like, oh, yeah, this is all right. But over there, that's their wrestling. So you get to hear and experience that match for what it's supposed to be.
And they know those guys, and they know what to expect. So, like, it's one thing for us to sit there and go, like, yay, flippies. Like, but, like, we miss out on, like, the context of the match, the match itself. Kind of, and it's the same, for any culture. Like, we can't just ship off, John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson and have them watch that and necessarily get all the extra nuances just because they're not quite as familiar with that product as, say, we would be.
And CML uses YouTube as their main channel. $10 a month. They get Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, which is the live shows, and then Tuesday they call it Lucha de Martes, which is what we translate to Tuesday Wrestling, and they do that on Facebook for free. So they're hitting Facebook on Tuesdays for free. They do a show there, and then they have right. And then Friday to Sundays they do their main shows from the arenas that they own, and those are YouTube for $10. So if you follow them, you follow all those guys, all those matches, like stuff like that. Like when they had the females, the first time they had a female tournament, they did that for free on a Tuesday there in Mexico, and that shit was packed. So, why they don't do stuff like this here? Why we still cannot get a only female wrestling show from a major company? Still boggle my mind. Every company says they have the best female wrestlers in their company, but they still don't want to devote a show to their females. An hour show, it's half an hour show or something.
It's wild because I think WWE could easily do it, right? Because
the universe,
they have such a huge fan base, and their roster is crazy. I don't know what TNA is doing right now, but original TNA, the only real TNA, not this bullshit 2.0. No one could tell me that if TNA said back in the days, you know what, we're gonna throw a women's show, even if it's 45 minutes with commercials, people aren't gonna watch it. That woman's roster with Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, Taylor Wilde, all those amazing athletes.
And they did it as the one night show.
Yeah, but it was a one night only.
That was just like this. Yeah.
They did a lot of those for females, but never a devoted. WWE main event is one of their house shows that they show like 2 matches. You mean to tell me you can take that WWE main event show and make it into a female show
and give them more airtime?
Exactly. You have an hour right there of bullshit that you guys are having 2 matches and a bunch of interviews and people talking crap. You can devote that to a female show right there. Boom. You be the first company. AEW. Oh, we're the best now because now they got Monet, whatever. And you think they'll do something like that in YouTube with Dark and Elevation, and they still don't do nothing like that.
Yeah, but you know what? And we'll transition right after this. Yes, they got Sasha Banks, and kudos, right? Like she went for WWE, she did her thing in New Japan. She's in AEW. Do what you do, right? But think about all the names, and to me, their AEW is worse than WWE. Because you got a guy like Parker Bordeaux, sky's the limits. Where the fuck is Parker Bordeaux?
Mexico.
Valkyrie.
Mexico.
He's Parker's no longer in AEW?
He's still signed, but he just debuted for AAA.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
But your point.
Yeah. Taya was a big deal. Disappeared. Like
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, they get a pop. And then, all right, we'll send you over there, right? Like, and it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
If you want to be on the B show, you know what I'm saying? Do what
Athena
you
is
do.
killing it right now behind the paywall.
Yeah. Yes. Athena, bro. Athena is killing it right for the last year in our
Ring
age.
of Honor.
Yeah, and nobody's
Yeah.
can see that unless you're like Red Camera said, unless you paying the $10 a month for 4 shows. I'm not paying $10 a month for 4 shows. Sorry.
And she was what, Ember Moon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was clearly when AEW, and then when it started getting the big time names, they get shipped over here, which they did with your girl Billy Starks. She's stuck there now, and a bunch of other girls that you think like, wow, this is what they did with them. Trisha Dora is there, you know, and you kind of like, damn.
Yeah, Lady Frost is over there unless they want her
Lady
job.
Frost is over there getting killed every week when she wrestles. She gets pinned. So what? You only get to see them 4 times a week or a month, but you got to pay $10. I am not paying $10 for 4 1-hour matches per week.
Hell no.
$4.99 for sure. $9.99 plus tax. I'm not doing that. No.
So I'm gonna admit I was super late to the party. I was doing some shit, and I had told the guys here, both of the homies right here, hit me with spoilers. I want to know everything. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna watch it later anyway. So I said, Rob K said something, and I said, did the El Jefe thing happen? And he said, yeah, it's about the key, the Montaza key or whatever, right? And I'm like, hasn't he been gone for like 2-3 years now?
He showed up once. Yeah.
Well, he never mentioned he was the Montaza, Montaza key.
It's
he
just
just mentioned that this is the key to open.
Well,
your open something.
It's like the ultimate prize in lucha. I believe is the phrasing he used for it.
Yeah. So what is that? I mean, I hope it's not Matanza as the prize, but hopefully opens other things. Like maybe whoever wins becomes the booker. For now that has the power to book the matches now still, and maybe now that core power is missing, that person will be coming to power and take over the whole MLW in the meantime till power comes back.
I like that,
maybe
but
that's what I mean.
They would have been.
But why do you need to keep
that? Sounds cool to me. If they would have at least addressed the key at some point.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they will when we watch the next show in the middle of April, or they give us the little videos every couple of days.
My thing is, if me and Rob have a beef and you're the booker, right? Like say you're what? It doesn't matter. Me and Rob gonna fight, and he out of nowhere he's on his orange hat thing, and I'm on my silver shades thing, and he's like, "Yo, we got a match for this key." Where the fuck the key come from? And I want your orange hat.
Yeah, no, that's my problem. Is there's like he's just like, this is an offer you can't refuse, and then still didn't elaborate on why this is an offer we couldn't refuse. He didn't elaborate. This is a key to my office where all the dirty government documents are. This isn't Montaza's key, which I mean, if you're going to drop the Lucha Underground thing, the key always is implied for Montaza, who they publicly defrocked on MLW television as Joe Cobb. So that legend is, for all practical purposes, dead. Because Joe we all know that Cobb's out there killing it in New Japan, and whoever else is going to pay him stateside. It's okay. I'm gonna, before I start stuttering over myself, because I'm getting worked up on things. This is one of my big pet peeves about MLW, is that they will hype an announcement, and then the announcement is ultimately nothing. And that's that. Yes, they can explain it in the future, and it might fix things. But you hyped it now is the problem. We have a key, but again, is it a key to a bank vault? Is it a key to ownership papers? Is it a key to Montaza? Is it a key to some other killer brother that no one has mentioned until right now? It's nothing. And then you didn't.
The promotions have you seen in the last year that they announced a big announcement only to deflate us with the announcement is? It's not just MLW.
But the difference is, I'll use Tony Khan as an example, who has a big announcement every week. His big announcement is never a non-announcement.
Yeah.
It may let us down. It may have been overhyped, which, again, this is what a promoter is supposed to do. They're supposed to promote. But his announcement is never a non-announcement. And that's what this was. This is an offer you can't refuse. It's a key. What does this key do? I don't know. It's a MacGuffin, man.
Right here.
There you go.
This is what we're gonna fight for.
Yeah.
The stapler holds the power to staple papers.
Yeah.
Documents that are important documents. You have this stapler after whoever wins, you have the power to staple the biggest documents, important documents of everything that we have in the cabinet.
I want in.
This is what you're really fighting for.
Yeah. So
sometimes I just sit there and I go like, wow, this is just
I bet Salina has a bunch of keys too. So she might be able to refuse that offer. Yeah. Hey, I got keys.
Yes.
Am I the most powerful man in lucha?
Yes. Well, it depends. The keys open a car that has a full tank of gas.
Yes.
If it does, I'm fighting for that.
No, I got more than one key. I got like 6 keys here, man.
Word, Rob.
I'm super important.
I don't want to win your car, then have to put gas in it.
Yeah, man. Screw that.
Taxes and gas.
Yeah.
So we definitely feel like that was the one miss on this show.
No, not the one miss.
Oh no. There's a lot of things that I question this, Joe.
Whoa! Yeah. You know what? Someone else take over, because I felt this was the only one miss. I wanted, you know what, Rob, take over. What do we talk? Do you host the rest of the show? Because I thought it was the only miss.
Oh, I mean, like, again, I'm going to stress, in ring wise, like, the action was fine, but like I questioned the key thing. I questioned they hyped the debut of Diaz. I can't think of his first name, and I didn't bring my fancy notebook up here with it in. He's like, here's this new guy who promptly gets murked by another new guy that we have no clue who he is. Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Like, yes, that turned into a serviceable match against Mads Kruger, but like, you already had one match that wasn't announced where a guy got nuked by another guy we had no clue about, just for him to get nuked by Mads Kruger, which, I mean, again, granted, Kruger should have murked him, but like, what was up with that? And then like we had like another full-on squash match with Richard Diaz or Adonis, and they brought in Bad Dude. He got murked by Tito, which, granted, Tito needs a win if he's going to call out a champion. So like I acquiesce. He's finally earned his title opportunity on that front, but still, like, this is something behind a paywall, man. And now we've gotten like 2 glorified squash matches for something that's a big event.
He's going to call out a champion. I'm thinking he's going to call out somebody. No one got called out.
Yeah, he just went through the list of titles he qualifies for as a solo wrestler. So like, so he's just like, I want gold. No. I don't care if it's Kojima. I don't care if it's Ricochet and Page. Cool. I do that on a weekly basis, man. Like, I just call out random people too.
I got to make a thing here, because when the Kruger thing happened, the chat had, the chat's going back and forth. You guys were talking, and Muffin's like, "Yo, who the fuck is this guy?" And Rob was like, "Fuck if I know." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is bad." When the 2 guys who know the most about wrestling don't know who this fake cowboy guy is, this is a problem.
Well, if the fake cowboy looked like, like he could be in a house fight against the one commanders, and that'll be a meat fight right there.
That's who it is. That is the 2 cold manders. That's the other guy that was running around that one night.
Okay. So 1 cold manders and 2 commanders could be a tag team called the Manders. 2 guys called Manders. Manders 1 and 2 Manders.
It's like thing 1 and thing 2.
Yeah. The tag team name is
both cowboys. Both come out in chaps. Both throw a lariat.
And then the tag team name
both have a mustache.
Then the tag team name is the 2 Cold Manders. That'd be a cool name right there. The 2 Cold Manders.
So, you know what? I got to ask, because you guys are going to make me laugh a little too much, and we got to get back onto track again. There goes the misses. Rob came in. He did the John Stockton to Malone. I appreciate that. Those were definitely misses, right? I don't mind watching squashes. Mads had to get a squash. It should have been on a weekly.
Yeah. That one was entertaining, though, I will say.
Bad Dude Tito has to show his dominance. He's no longer. He's got a winning record.
2-1.
Yeah.
2-1.
Okay, Rob is like, fuck that record. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, I said he earned it when I was going on my little tirade over there. Like he earned it, but like my complaint is on this, like, you're making people pay for squash matches if you're doing it on Fight TV, Triller TV. Like this, like, yes, right now every event MLW does is a big event just because of how they're broadcasting. But like, I don't know, maybe I'm old school, and when I pay for a show, I want a little bit higher quality for it. And like, so Triller TV, like, yes, I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff with the Triller TV plan, so it's not just MLW, but still, like, in theory, this is behind a paywall. Like, no one's getting this for free. Whereas the YouTube shows, like, I might roll my eyes at it because now we're just doing 2 shows a month instead of having Fusion. But like, if it's on free on YouTube, like, I'll give it half a pass because, well, you know what? The only thing I'm paying for this is my time. And so I was going to end up watching a squash match anyway. So I might as well do it on free YouTube rather than on the $10 a month payment plan of Triller TV. But like, for like, in both cases, like, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. It's just the weird way they went around it again. So we're like using it. Tito, yes, Tito needs a winning record if he's going to call out a champion. Like, I'll be the first one that I'll be the champion of that cause. That your contenders should earn a title shot in some way, shape, or form, and the best way to do that is to win a match. He now officially has a winning record in MLW. Like, yes, maybe the quality of competition wasn't great, but hey, at least he got a winning record out of the deal, so good enough. And then like the Kruger match again, it really did show it showed how dangerous Kruger can be in that situation, especially the visual, which I don't think they hyped that visual enough. But at one point, Kruger was wearing the door.
The door,
like they only showed him no selling door shots. No, like MLW, which is a gaff. At no point went like, this man is a maniac, and had footage, just like stop the footage of the door wrapped around his head. Because at one point, Brock just slammed part of a door on his head, and like he let go of it. The door didn't shatter. The door didn't like break clear through. There's just Kruger's bald head sticking out the top, and he's wearing it, which is an amazing visual for a guy to be like, no selling. And they just kind of like, they just went like, look, he gets up from anything, and then proceeded to ignore the part where he wore the door for a bit because that's how hard the door hit him. But again, told the story it needed to, but it just, there was better ways to get there for both those matches, I think. And that's where I feel it was a misstep rather than, the bell-to-bell problem.
No, it makes sense. I want to jump into the calling because that's Rob's favorite faction. So, Rob, lead us into the calling versus the Team EMT.
Yes. Well, nobody knows.
Yeah, that match technically, like, it hasn't broadcasted yet.
That's right. That's next week. My fault.
Well, they had
a beat down and wrapped Akira up in barbed wire. So I mean, that's always a neat visual. So I'll give them that. But yeah, officially speaking, that match hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
But I think it's going to go down to the lane you want.
Yeah, I mean, most likely. But it's well, let's not jump into the future too much, especially since I don't have all the details to make a proper argument one way or another.
All right, so we'll go.
I'll bow out of that one.
What about the main event? Muffins, lead us into the main event.
Hey man, this was War Games, or I'm sorry, War Chambers. I don't care what you call it. I always call it War Games because I saw the first War Games back in the 80s. The Horsemen against the N.W.A team. Everybody knows the War Games was made for the Horsemen, by the Horsemen, for the Horsemen.
And it used to be the Horsemen in the MLW too, if I can interrupt.
Even though they only won one match ever in the War Games, out of, I want to say, almost 20 that they were in, and that was the one that where Brian Pillman almost got his neck broken by Sid Vicious. And got a concussion. I said, okay, we gotta. If you guys were gonna lose, we gotta stop this match now because.
Bro, we're not talking N.W.A. What are we doing right now?
Hey man, whatever. Yeah, baby, all day, every day. Doesn't matter what year it is. Every day, right here, baby. Anyways,
We're
we get
podcasting MLW.
Wait, we get to
Or Extreme Horsemen in
the War
MLW.
Chamber.
The War Chamber used to be War Games back
Yeah, exactly.
back in its first run in like 2003.
And what was good about this, they went back to the 2 rings instead of just 1 ring, which made it bigger. It pulled the whole camera around. You had 2 rings, and you could see the crowds from different places. My brother came over. Whoa, man, they're doing that in 1 ring. It looks so small. I said, no, wait for a second. And then they did the aerial shot. And he goes like, oh, shit, that looks big in there. I said, yeah. They finally did 2 rings like the way it's supposed to. So everybody did their shit. Everybody killed it. Everybody was, there's weapons everywhere. I loved it. The only guy who I didn't feel like belonged there was Richard Holiday.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't know. It's like everybody else looked like they belonged there except for him. Like, this is like,
what did he look like he belonged?
I breathe rarefied air, and my air right now should not be in this type of mess here because I'm afraid I'm going to get Hep B or some shit in my air. So I do not belong in this match. That's the only thing that I saw was weird, that he did just not belong in that type of match. But other than that, you get 20 minutes almost before everybody gets in there, and then the match actually starts. This was only 4-on-4. It used to be 5-on-5, so it kind of brings it back. But we knew the MLW team was going to win. Now, what happens with WTF? Where do they go from here? I have no clue what's going to happen with them. Where do they go from here? Because they just took another loss on something big like this. So, and I don't know if you want to jump to the next thing that happened, or Kramer,
no,
go.
let Rob get his piece. Let Rob get his piece.
All right.
Yeah. Despite Muffin's thorough and very good analysis of the War Games match.
Wait, Rob, hold on. Do you concur that Richard Holiday felt like he shouldn't have been in that match?
I mean, he's not the only one. Though, if you're because actually I had a bigger qualm with Okamura's participation, because he just, I don't like, just the way he wrestled, he just seemed like totally out of place, and like he just kind of like, I don't know, in my opinion, it just seemed like he's trying just to get his spots in and match itself be damned.
Who?
Okamura.
Oh, okay.
The other half of Cozy Max.
Yeah,
the other old guy that isn't Kojima. And like, I mean, gimmick wise, yeah, Holiday probably shouldn't have been in there. He should have like pulled some, if we're looking like purely kayfabe, he should have bought his way out of the match. But I didn't. But I didn't mind that much as Muffins did. Like, as a whole, like, okay. I see Muffins' point. Like, I don't necessarily, I'm net neutral on it. I don't disagree with it, but but my agree with it is still kind of iffy. But it is what
the 3 guys from OTF, Lawler and the 2 guys, Davey Boy and Bishop, they look like they belong there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
they look like they're
Anders and Justice, they look like they belong there.
Yeah. Yeah, and overall, I didn't really have a problem with the match overall. Like, there's some moments I question. I am going to put over Josh Bishop, who finally got to show out in an MLW ring. He hadn't, like, outside of his debut beatdown, he really hadn't had an opportunity to show what he could do in the ring, because he's mostly been just kind of like either a heavy, or like his participation is just kind of like, ebbed and flowed. Like, he would be there and then he just wouldn't be there. He never really got a good time to shine on his own, even like when he was doing the tag team match with Tom Lawler at one point. We had at least one insane spot that Steiner brother, like that not just the Steiner brothers DDT, but an avalanche Steiner DDT through the tables on Tom Lawler. Like, that was crazy, go nuts, man. Yes. But like, really, my biggest complaint in the match happened to be the finish. Like, I think, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not a bad thing for Kojima to be the one to be the guy to finish the match, get the pinfall, but we literally like just watched Tom Lawler possibly die, and then we just have like a half lame lariat that was nowhere near the best lariat Kojima had ever thrown, and like that was the finish. Like, he didn't even take Holiday's head off proper. Like, that was my thing, is like, they didn't even make it a great lariat where Holiday could have like done a backflip or something. He just kind of got shoulder tackled, and that
crazy.
like right after Tom Lawler was killed, like almost immediately after that, like we get our little cocaine toss, lariat, and it's over. Yay! And
you know what?
It's just kind of like a wet part after that.
So, if you had to take an MVP for the entire show, one person who showed out the best, who would you have?
Ooh, entire show.
The entire show.
I got two.
Go ahead, Muffins. I want to think my answer through.
Well, first of all, Chess Boy, AJ. No. What's his name?
Ikuro Kwon?
Who?
Ikuro Kwon?
Say that one more time.
I think he's talking about Flop Dollar.
Ikuro Kwon, Tristan Todd.
Yeah.
Oh,
Flop Dollar.
AJ Francis.
Whoa,
Francis.
How you going to say he's the MVP and call him Flop Dollar?
No, because I couldn't.
I'm still trying to figure out how he's going to call him MVP.
AJ Francis. AJ Francis is one, and then two. Okay. Josh Bishop. Josh Bishop, to me, like you said, and I'm really thinking about it now. Bishop did a lot in that match, and like he actually had one of his best showings since his first debut. So
he looked like a beast. That's who I was picking was Bishop.
Yeah, and
Bishop did his thing.
Yeah, and like the more I think, like he was kind of like top of the list, but I was just really trying to like think, was there someone who was more deserving? But like really compared to what we've seen of him prior, like he looked like a beast. I mean, he got to start the party off and had that wild brawl outside the ring before the match. They started the match. They rang the bell, but they still they had the brawl outside the cage to start the party. He DVD'd DVD'd Justice through a door, and then ended up putting Davey Boy through a door as well as an oops spot.
And we forgot to mention the referee or the manager for the good guys was being Bill Alfonso.
Yeah, we neglected Fonzie because he was kind of a non-factor though, outside of like a chair toss, and he got murked by Saint Laurent. Who gets murked by Saint Laurent? So I forgot about Bill Alfonso, another guy who works heavily for CCW there in Florida. He's a Florida guy. Yeah.
So we'll finish off with the greatest faction in MLW history. Contra Unit said they were going to have new members, and I thought we'd have new members with the Nest. But since Death Squad comes in, they start annihilating everybody. Ikuro Kwon winds up being the first member back to the Contra Unit, and he's one of my favorite guys. One of the coolest people I know outside the ring. He came in, and when we last seen Ikuro Kwon injury and then come back, I think he did the quick with EJ and Daku with the War Chamber, and then Contra Unit was folded. If you look, he put on around 27, 35 pounds of muscle. He's no longer that little cruiserweight size. Yeah, Ikuro Kwon is looking like a beast. So he comes in, he starts annihilating people. He fits that Contra Unit, super aggressive, take your head off. And one of the coolest things I seen when they climbed the cage, and they hung the flag up, and it's like this is ours. Like we're back. So that to me was super dope. I am extremely biased to my Contra Unit. I want Joseph Samael back. How much of that will happen? Who knows? But gentlemen, talk to me. Contra Unit, Ikuro Kwon, Sentai Death Squad. The takeover is coming. It feels like.
Bro, when I heard the music, I'm like, okay, what happened to the new member that they be talking about? I heard the music after the match ended. I'm like, oh God, hold on. Are they actually gonna walk into the ring and keep going? And that's what they did, boy. They came out with 127 Sentai Death Squad guys with their helmets on. Crew came in, and then Ikuro Kwon came out and did the first spray on one guy, and did the kick on another guy, Next thing you know, there's bodies everywhere. Announcers are going crazy. There's something like Mean Gene Oak, like Bobby Heenan. I'm getting the hell out of here. You don't pay me enough for this. And the cameras are going crazy, like, you know, in and out from different angles. Beatings are occurring. Then people are getting, you know, draped in the contract unit flags on the floor. And then when I saw the one guy climb, and then I saw crew climb the other side, and they're trying to get the flag over, and the whole flag just draped the outside of the cage. I got goosebumps, bro. I said, "Oh my god!" It
felt like something out of the Purge.
Dude, like this is. I'm like, you cannot end this show on a better way than this. The flag just draped over is just saying, "We're back. We're like we never left. We're here. We're taking over this whole thing. Forget MLW. This is contract unit wrestling going on." I thought that was like the icing on the cake to finish that. I got goosebumps, bro. I jumped like, holy shit.
Wasn't it the Sentai Death Squad that took out Court Bauer?
Dude, it was like 100 of them that took out Court Bauer.
Yeah.
It was Sentai Death member number 7, 26, 38, 72, and 99 who took or 98 who took out this guy. And then they got contract, you know, the Sentai guys 1 through 27, where the members doing the beating inside there, with number 57 helping put the drape on top of the cage, with number 86 on the other side. So when they do the next 40-man battle royal, what's that show called again?
Battle Riot.
Riot. They're going to have at least 10 to 15 Sentai members.
It's Alex Kane and 39 others, 39 Sentai Death Squad.
Yo, Rob, next time
the seventh entrance is Densai member number 6. And
Rob, you got a better memory than I do. So the next time the Sentai Death Squad does anything crazy, I need to know. He got to answer. Which Sentai Death Squad? Is it the guy with the flag? And he has to remember that guy's specific number.
Yeah. So we're gonna have 10 Sentai members there on the Battle Riot. Oh, number 37 is Sentai member number 18.
Rob, what we got, baby?
Yeah.
No, it was a very good visual. Like the entire thing, like, was an amazing visual. Like even starting the party where they started by surrounding both cages, and then it was like from there it was almost like an old school Capcom arcade game where like you had your heroes, you know, you had your protagonists, your heroes standing like looking around as all these all the nameless goons come in ready for a fight, and they came from bloody everywhere. Like, you know, eventually Kruger pulled the door off, but while Kruger's pulling the door off, the Sendai guys were coming up over the cage, and just really like that was just a great visual. And then we bring in Ikuro Kwon, who like I'm glad like that. Well, I'm glad we're starting to get some named people in for Contra, that it's not just a bunch of Sendai Death guys that are indistinguishable from one another. You know, we have guys that we can actually invest in emotionally when we watch these things. In addition to, like, I almost didn't recognize them. Like, honestly, like, it wasn't until commentary you said, "Is that Ikuro Kwon?" that I went like, "Oh, that is." Because, because like, it's like Ikuro Kwon ate the old Ikuro Kwon. Like the dude's massive now. But it was great to see, like, we got a name in there. And then even then it was a name from Contra's past. So so we already have a link to the past. So it wasn't just, you know, bring in some rando guy that now has a name, which that's cool. Like, let's do that too. Like, I just want more named guys in Contra. But yeah, so we got a link to the past on that. And then of course he's coming in and like already showing off like some of those nasty kicks, and then of course bringing out the mist as well, and then also ending the brawl is Kruger with the fireball, which we don't see. We haven't seen too many fireballs since Samael left. And you don't see too many fireballs in wrestling anymore in general as well. So you know, we got like, and you know, we haven't even got to the part where we're hanging up the flag, and there's already like 3 really good visuals to be had right there of fire, mist, and dudes just climbing over the cage, and then ending things with just the gigantic flag being hung across the War Chamber itself, you know, is a message sent as well. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah, one more thing. I was there the last couple of shows when they came back to Philly, And I remember Ikuro Kwon was the last member that actually stood with Cruel when the whole contract unit, when started breaking off, and everybody started doing their own thing. Ikuro Kwon was the last guy that was with Cruel to the end. So
yeah, they were beefing with Papo.
Yeah, so it's fitting that he's the first one that comes back. It might be the only person that comes back because he was the only one that stood with Cruel to the whole thing. So that right there to me kind of makes sense that they finished with him and he's the first one back. So I was like, okay, cool. They brought the guy back who was there with him to the end.
My last question to the both of you, because you guys would know better than me. Do you think there's any chance we see the Iranian super soldier Davari?
Probably not.
No.
I mean, you never say no.
Yeah, I guess never say never. But if you're you're gonna want a real answer from me, the odds say no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like Ikuro Kwon coming back, and now hopefully they'll start getting some new members and start getting those guys from Southern Wrestling where contract unit has been going hard for the last 2 years. And and they're guys that wrestle in other companies, and we know who they are if you follow them, but there might be newbies for MLW fans, which is cool when you start bringing some new fresh faces. Instead of the same old stale faces.
And you're right, because before you said what you said, I was just like, oh, bring back all my former contract unit guys. But when you said Kwon was the only one that stuck with him, that makes the most sense that me and you will bring this back, and then we'll start ramping it up. And,
well, you were the Ikuro Kwon was there when everything went down in flames. So of course you got to bring your loyalist person, your number one soldier. Yeah, your number one soldier, which was Kwon, to the end. He never left till the end, till everything was over, and then that's when everything. So of course you want to go. Okay, you were there with me till the end. You're the first person I'm going to bring in because you're the one loyal. And now you can be my number one and get everybody else in shape, and we go from there. So perfect ending. I didn't want it to end after the flag went down. I wanted them to go back and keep beating somebody. I wanted other wrestlers to come out, like from the Gill side.
Try to help them out.
Kind of like when Bauer went down.
Their asses kicked in the ring. I would have loved that to happen.
You know what? On a super high note,
they can't give us too much at once, but I would have loved it if more people came out and they were just destroying them on the second ring. Like drop them on the other side. Let's use both of the rings.
We had a phenomenal ending. I want to talk one specific topic with the big homies real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, Spotify, MLW Confusion, all that good shit. Like, subscribe, follow, blah, 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 blah. Deuces.